Oh my god, this is my first ever Q&A style video. So nervous! But I'm excited. I hope you guys like it and don't find it boring because I'm just gonna be talking and answering your questions and stuff. So yeah, welcome. Hey Corillo, I'm Nemesis. Welcome back to my channel. Alright, as per usual, let's talk about the song of the week. But fuck a song of the week. Today we're gonna talk about an album. Because the whole album is a fucking masterpiece. And I am talking about Chloe and Halle's Ungodly Hour. Those women, we don't deserve them. They were sent to us from another dimension. The same world that gave us Beyonce gave us Chloe and Halle. How are they real? So yeah, fuck a song. The whole album. Go listen to it if you haven't. That's it. That's all I have to say. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's get into this video! Okay, so as you saw by the title of this video, today is a Q&A style video, but specifically about hair. So I went ahead and asked you guys on my Instagram, if you are not following me on Instagram, what are you doing? So I asked you guys if you had any questions, concerns, any hair stories that you might want to share with me, and you guys gave me such good freaking questions. So yeah, let's shut up Nemesis, let's get started. Okay, so one of the questions that some of you asked were shampoo and conditioner recommendations for curly or wavy hair. And listen, there are so many, but if you are asking for my favorite that I have tried personally, I'm gonna have to go with the Kristen S curl line. That whole entire line is color and keratin safe. It's vegan. It's free of drying alcohol, sulfates, parabens, phthalates. I still don't know how to pronounce that word. This. Or silicones. It doesn't have any of that stuff. So it is pretty much Curly Person approved. Not only is it free of all of that, but it's actually good. Like, I saw really good results using that shampoo and conditioner. All right, next question. Somebody asked, how long does it take for the pattern to be consistent? And a couple more people asked a similar question, like how long does it take for the curly girl method to show results, or how did I revive my waves or my curls? All right, sit down, grab a snack. Let's talk about my hair journey. Okay, to kind of answer the first part of that question, it depends. I think mostly on three things. First of all, the amount of damage that you actually have on your hair. Your hair length also plays a big part, and how long you've been straightening it for. In my personal experience, it took around 7 to 8 months for me to see a consistent pattern wash day after wash day. So let me give you a little timeline of how it all happened. I'll try to include pictures. So in November of 2019, my hair was very long and I had been straightening it forever. And even though you might not be able to see it in the pictures, my hair was full ride at the ends. It was not good. So in December of 2019, I cut off all the damage and it felt so much smoother and healthier, but I was still straightening it. So around May of 2020, I stopped using heat. I was like, okay, I've had enough of this shit. So around June of 2020 is when I started experimenting with the curly girl method. I started, you know, like researching on how to style natural waves, etc. This is kind of like what it started looking like. In July of 2020, I got my first curly cut. It was amazing, but holy shit, I cut off a lot of hair. A whole month after that, in August of 2020, I had my first successful wash day where I actually saw definition, I saw some bounce, I saw really good results. And since then, it was just a lot of like trial and error, discovering what works, what didn't work, what type of products were good for me, what were not. So it wasn't until January or February of 2021 that I started having just effortless wash days. So yeah, it took me around 7 to 8 months, but I've heard stories and I've seen stories of curly people that has taken them years. So that's what I meant when I said it depends on the amount of damage that you have in your hair. Same person who asked that also asked, should the products have no silicone? All right, so what are silicones? What do silicones actually do in your hair? They help seal moisture in, it lubricates your hair, it adds shine to your hair, and it kind of prevents frizz by coating your hair. It's kind of like putting a protective coat over your hair. It sounds great and dandy, but most silicones are not water soluble. Soluble? Lord in heaven, my accent will always get in the way. Soluble? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So that means that when you wash your hair, you might not be breaking down the silicone, and it might be, you know, causing a lot of buildup. So that's gonna force you to have to use clarifying shampoos that have sulfates in them. And you see where I'm going. It's gonna be a repetitive cycle of you using silicones to smooth your hair, but then having to use very harsh sulfates to get rid of them, and then your hair is gonna be dry, so then you start using more silicones. It's a vicious cycle. That's why the Curly Girl method advises you not to use products with silicones. All right, so one of you actually DM'd me one of your hair stories. She just asked me for tips on how I keep my waves defined and lasting throughout the week. I have a whole ass video that I will link right here. It's titled A Week in My Hair, and I show you like how my hair looks every day of the week between wash days. What do I do with it? How do I make it look better? Blah, 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 blah. So if you wanna go watch that, please do. But my 3 biggest tips for keeping your hair looking as fresh as possible in between wash days. Number 1, how you sleep in your hair is very, very important. My preferred way of sleeping on my hair is putting it up in a pineapple using a satin or silk scrunchie, something that's not going to leave a huge dent or is going to break your hair, and then wrapping my hair with a little satin scarf or silk if you fancy, girl. Oh my god, I'm gonna put a little clip or picture here of how I look so that you get an idea of how it is that I sleep on my hair. Number 2 is to, okay, and this is like a tricky one, but I try to not put my hair up in buns, ponytails, or anything like that too often. If I have to put it up, it's like a freaking hot ass day outside, I go for scrunchies or also claw clips. I have one here now, but you know, claw clips. And third, my favorite method of refreshing my hair is using a little spray bottle. In mine, I only have just water, but you can do a little concoction, a little combination of water and a leave-in conditioner or a little defining cream that you might want to mix in with your water, and use this to refresh your hair. I'm not gonna spray mine right now because I already did this morning. This is 3rd day hair. And I think we're looking good. We're looking good. We're looking decent. All right, somebody else DM'd me asking if I use any leave-in conditioners on my wash day routine. To be honest, no. The only time that I use leave-in conditioners is when I know I'm not gonna be styling my hair. When I'm gonna put my defining cream, my gel, my mousse, whatever the fuck I'm gonna use to style my hair, I don't like using leave-in conditioners because they usually weigh my hair down. All right, another one of my queens asked how not to get it frizzy or dry whenever I wash it, even though I only shampoo 1 to 2 times per week. All right. So it sounds to me that you just have naturally dry hair, which is normal, especially if you have wavy or curly hair. That's how it tends to be. So first of all, take a look at what shampoo and conditioners are you using. Check if they have any sulfates. Sulfates are very dry. Also check if your shampoo and conditioners have any drying alcohols, because this is very common, especially with drugstore shampoo and conditioners. If none of those things are it, you might want to incorporate masking at least once per week. Masking with either a reparative mask such as this one. This is the Briojo Don't Despair Repair Mask, or a moisturizing mask. I have one from, I'll pop it here. This is one from Garnier. This is their 1 minute mask. It's so fucking moisturizing. It's really, really good. I actually really like it. And you might also want to incorporate hair oils at the end of your wash day routine. It's just gonna help your hair retain that moisture for longer so that it doesn't feel dry for the rest of the week. I love you and I hope this helps. All right, somebody else asked, how can I get definition without product overload? A lot of other people also asked that question. So I mostly just have 3 main tips that you can use. If you don't like using more than one styling product, it's completely understandable. So maybe you might want to invest in a tool that can help you with that. So a Denman brush is a great investment. I also did a whole ass video, I'll link it here, on how I use my Denman brush. Second tip I have is creating clumps in the shower. So applying your defining cream or your gel or your mousse, whatever it is, in the shower while your hair is still dripping wet. It's also a great way of making sure that your products are going to be fully activated with the water, but there won't be excess product because your hair is dripping wet. You understand what I'm saying? I hope you do. And the third tip that I have for you is finger coiling. I was never good at it, but it basically just means that while your hair is still wet and with product in it, to just do this thing and just like coil your hair and then let it fall, and it'll help your hair kind of understand that this is the shape that you want it to take. All right, moving on to, I think this is going to be the last two questions. First, how to balance the curly girl method plus dandruff. Okay, I found this question so interesting because I had never even thought of it. So first, I just want to say that dandruff is not the same as just having a dry scalp. Dandruff is an actual condition. It can also be like a chronic problem for some people. So if you actually have the dandruff condition, please go to a doctor. If what you have is dry scalp though, my three biggest tips are, first of all, make sure you shampoo less. Don't be shampooing your hair like all of the time, because that will dry up your scalp even more, especially if there's sulfates in your shampoo. Or maybe switch to milder shampoos, even a co-wash. Second tip, scalp massagers. Here's a picture of one. I think this one is from Briogeo. And speaking of Briogeo, the third tip I can give you is using scalp scrubs to exfoliate the surface of your scalp to get rid of any dead skin cells or any flakiness that you might have. I know Briogeo has one, but since I don't have a lot of advice on how to deal with dandruff per se, I am going to direct you into someone who can help you. Miss Nelly Natural on Instagram made a whole post on tips on how to deal with dandruff, like her natural remedies. And another curly girl that you should check out is The Curious Jalebi. She's on Instagram, and her website, thecuriousjalebi.com, she has a whole blog post called Flaky Head and Shoulders, Here's What You Need to Know, plus tips to treat dandruff. It's an amazing read. I actually learned a lot through her, so please check her out. She will probably have a lot more useful information than I do on this subject. All right, the last question that I have time for in this video to answer it's from my queen over here asking, hey, do you have any tips for how to get more volume at the roots? Girl, this is my biggest struggle. Speaking of volume, hold on. Oh, this helps. I guess this can count as a tip. Picking at the roots with this after you style your hair, it makes a difference. I promise it does. Anyways, next tip. This one is a tip for when you're in the shower. So washing and conditioning your hair with your head flipped over, major key. That can definitely help. And even more major key, using your Denman brush or whatever brush that you use in the shower to detangle, using it to brush away from your head. It helps your hair kind of get that little bit of volume, that little bit of lift from the moment that you're styling your hair. Also, when you come outside of the shower, always brush your hair away from your face. Also, diffusing your hair with your head flipped over, key. That's how I get like that as like 90% of my root volume, just like that. Another thing that I've seen, I haven't done honestly because I don't have the right clips, but root clipping. I'll look for a picture and put it here. I've seen other curly girls do it, like they clip their roots and then they just let their hair air dry. But since the roots are like they're lifted, it gives them kind of like a similar effect to when I diffuse my hair with my head flipped over, except it's a lot less work. That's it. That's it. That's all the tips I have. Yay! I really hope that I got to answer the majority of like you guys' questions and concerns. If you have any more questions, please comment down below. That's gonna be everything for me. Thank you guys so much for sending in your questions. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. That really helps me, okay? Also follow me on Instagram at Mimio6 so that you can be part of like these types of videos too. And for some bonus personality content, follow me on TikTok at NemesisMarie6. But most importantly, the best thing that you can do for me is have a great rest of your day, baby girl. Baby girl. Okay, that's it. I'm going. I'm leaving. I need to take a nap. Bye.